All right. It says we're now live streaming. Oh, you girls that are out there trying to watch us, I am telling you, this Zoom makes me pull my hair out every time. They changed it up because of all the security issues. And when they have some breaches, like they've had a lot of them this week all over the entire platforms of the social media. In fact, if you didn't know, Barnes and Noble went down for 3 days this week. So everybody's really on high alert for security. I don't know if it's the election or what, but they changed everything up, and there was an extra security layer that I had to hop through, and I wasn't familiar with it. So I apologize, but this is Kelly Coates-Gilbert, and I am broadcasting live from Dallas, Texas tonight. And I have my dear friend and an author that I love to read, Patricia Sands. So welcome, Patricia.
Thanks, Kelly. It's great to be here. Hi, everyone. Kelly and I've already had an adventure trying to figure out whether we were on live or not. So if you saw us like for 5 minutes before, just delete that.
Just delete that. Pat and I have learned to just go with the flow. I want to tell you just a little bit about Patricia. Patricia writes stories that carry you away. Her stories celebrate the feminine spirit and the power of friendship, the exact kind of stories I adore. And I will tell you that I've read many of Patricia's books. She lives in Canada still?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She just moved, so I had to ask.
Yeah.
But she lives in Canada, but she loves to travel. And about once a year, she goes to France, and she takes a 10-day tour of women. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that, because what she does is she takes tours to the French Riviera and the countryside of Provence based on her popular series, Love in Provence. It's a trilogy that is so popular, and we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. She also is an avid photographer. And so if you do not follow her on all the social media sites, and particularly Instagram, you're missing out on all her beautiful photographs. I enjoy it because they pop up in my feed regularly, and I feel like I'm in France. So I'm really tickled to introduce Pat. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to ask you to tell our readers a little bit about you. But I better, before you do, for any of you who are new, you will not see a chat box come up like regular. We are broadcasting from Zoom onto live streaming onto Facebook. So we will see your comments. So go ahead and post them, but we can't see them live. So when Patricia and I are done, we will go out onto Facebook and we'll answer all your questions and comment. So continue to comment if you want to. But Patricia, go ahead. I want to find out, because you and I have, as much as we've talked, I've never really learned your story. How did you?
Well, how long do you have, Kelly? I mean, I can give you the long version or the short version. But I've been writing for I've been published for just over 10 years. And I started writing about 13 years ago. So it was a, late in life career for me, and one that I was totally unexpected. I wrote a book called The Bridge Club, which actually is set in Canada, and ended up publishing it, and then heard from readers that they'd like to read more of my work. And of course, I didn't have any. But my husband and I had been going to the south of France for many, many years on home exchanges and staying for anywhere from 1 to 3 months. So I knew that I wanted to write another book, and I wanted to write to my demographic, because I would hear from readers that they liked reading about more mature women. And I really wanted to set the stories in the south of France, because my heart really does live there. And I should be there right now, but thank you, COVID, I'm not. Yeah. However, I'm somewhere else. My husband and I just moved. I was writing about that on our Blue Sky book chat page today, that we've just moved 2 hours north of Toronto after really living most of our lives in Toronto. But that's a whole other story. So after the Bridge Club, I wrote a book called The Promise of Provence, and about a 55-year-old woman in Toronto whose life suddenly changed, and she went on a home exchange to the countryside of Provence, and there her life changed again. And then she ended up down on the Riviera, on the Côte d'Azur, in the town of Antibes, And her life continued to change. And I liked writing about home exchange because my husband and I have used that as a way of travel many, many times and with great success. So I love writing about it and, you know, helping other people learn about the experience. And anyway, that book, The Promise of Provence, turned into a trilogy. And I just, don't you love it when readers fall in love with your characters and talk about them like they're real people?
Yes, I've read them. And so I understand why they fell in love with them. You have this amazing way of building characters and believable characters that are multi-layered. You set this wonderful place, but the love story that you built for her was so authentic. It wasn't quick and unbelievable. It was this slow, wonderful, warm relationship that just blossomed, and I loved it. Loved it.
Thank you. Well, I loved writing it, and the more I wrote about them, the more in love I came with them too. And so after the 3 Love in Provence books, well, I had started off as an indie author, and then very fortunately heard from Lake Union Publishing that they were interested in my Provence books. So they actually took the first 2 books and relaunched them, and then published the 3rd book. And after that asked me to write a standalone. So I did, but I said, I have to say, it's still going to be about a mature woman, and it's still going to be set in the south of France. I just, you know, I don't want to change that. That's what I do. That's what I love. That's what my readers love. And so this was drawing lessons, which I can never figure out why books always show up backwards.
No, though, I mean, I can see it. I can see it just fine.
But isn't the title backwards?
Nope, it's fine.
Oh, okay. So it's only when I look at it that it's backwards. Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. That makes me very happy. So anyway, Drawing Lessons is a standalone, but it's still about, you know, an older woman and her experience in the south of France. And then after that, readers kept saying, but what about Catherine and Philippe? Like, what's happening? And what are they doing? And, you know, what about Simone? Simone is their 95-year-old neighbor and good friend. And so last year I published 3 novellas that became, you know, a little series as well. And that was the Villa des Violettes series that really was all about those characters and what's going on with them. And that was really fun to do. So this year,
it was so fun to go back and visit some characters that were familiar to me. I mean, I think that's why readers just adore series. They can read each story standalone. They can close the last page and be done. But it's so enticing to pick up another story and visit old friends and see a whole nother set of plot line, but some familiarity.
Yeah,
and,
I think you're right.
I read all of those. They're just wonderful. So
yes, I agree. There's something to be said for really getting to know characters and then following along as their lives evolve. And you mentioned,
I can tell you, after reading them, I understand why you landed on some bestseller lists and won all those awards, because that series is just so entertaining. And so any of you readers that are out there who have not tried Patricia Sands, I am telling you, and you can trust me because we like the same kind of books. Trust me, you have got to go pick up one of hers. And once you pick up one, I'm telling you, you're going to be hooked.
Well, I certainly hope so. And actually, Kelly, thanks for mentioning that, because the Love in Provence trilogy is on sale for the month of October. The ebooks are on sale for 99 cents each. So it's a great time to pick them up and pick some extra ones up for your friends and family too. Do some holiday shopping while you're at it.
Absolutely.
I mean, don't we love it when Amazon puts our books on sale? Yeah. You know, because it's a wonderful opportunity to reach more readers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why I put mine up free on occasion, just because I like people who've never read me to have an opportunity to grab a book risk-free. If they don't like me, it's not just their cup of tea. They haven't wasted anything. But if they like me, then I can provide hours of entertainment through all the rest of my books. So
Exactly. That's a really good way of looking at it too. Like there's no risk.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is a business, but we could go into any business, but this particular business of writing, it really is kind of a connection to readers that just warms our heart. And when we know people are reading our books and they send us emails or post reviews, I'm getting a bunch of notifications. I'm hoping people are telling me we're live. Okay, we're good. That was from somebody else. Sorry, when I start getting a bunch of ding, ding, dings over there, I think somebody's trying to tell me we're not live or something's wrong. So, but I want to know a little bit about your writing process. Do you write every day, or are you one of those people? I met a woman not so long ago that it just amazed me. She literally would leave her computer open on her kitchen counter, and she would just like dictate a synopsis, and then she would go away and write the book in 4 days.
Oh, wow. Oh gosh, I can't imagine. But writing a book in 4 days would really be something.
I think that's been so detailed. But so are you a pantser or a plotter?
Definitely a pantser.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, we know where the story's going, kind of, right? And I mean, I'm assuming you're a pantser too, or are you a very organized plotter?
No, I'm very
like to be
business part, but writing, I am a pantser.
Yeah. Somebody said to me the other day that they were a plotzer.
Yeah. We have to have some boundaries. I mean, we do have to wander within a little bit of a fence line.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I enjoy just sitting down with my cup of coffee in the morning and just seeing what happens. So.
And as you know, so often once we get going on a story, our characters tell us what's happening, right? That's one of the things that I read about when I first started writing and then was learning more about the craft, and I was reading all these books. There were so many writers who talked about how characters just took over. Sometimes they would be writing away and all of a sudden something would happen that they had not planned and have had it happen. And it is amazing, but it's part of the fun of writing fiction, isn't it?
It is. And I always call it the movie playing in your head. When you plug away for a few minutes and finally the movie starts playing, when the movie starts playing, you're just putting it on paper. And it's that's the zone you want to be in, is the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And it's a real buzz. And then everybody who's around you, who loves you, has to understand that that's what's happening. And I mean, there have been times when I've been in the car with my husband or out for a walk somewhere, and he's talking to me, and I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not in that conversation at all, And he'll say, "Excuse me, are you writing?" "Yes, I am writing in my head," and we have to get back so I can get it down.
That's right. That's right. Because a lot of our work is writing in our head, and when I'm in the middle of writing a book, which is just about all the time now, if I go to the bathroom to take a bath and get in the hot water, I soak and think about my story. If I'm out, planting flowers, I'm thinking about my story. If I'm taking a walk, I'm thinking about my story. Do you find that too?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It is all consuming. And it's what I do when I'm falling asleep. And I like that. I'll finish whatever I'm doing. I love to read before I go to bed. And so I read everything on my phone. And so I'll be lying there reading away. And then when this happens, I know, okay, that's enough reading.
Are any of your books in audio? Probably so.
Yes. They all are, actually. Well, not the novellas from last year, but all the others are.
Oh, I've considered putting mine. In fact, I've had a lot of readers asking for them, and it's pretty big investment. And so, but I'm about ready to jump in, I think. But I have fallen in love with audiobooks because I'm looking at
me too.
And so, and when I'm driving in the car, I have my Audible app on my phone, and it syncs with my Bluetooth, and if I start the car, it starts playing. I love that.
Yeah, I like that too. This our move from Toronto has taken us 2 hours north of the city. So driving back and forth, that's what I do. I listen to audiobooks all the time. We were just in the city for 2 days, and I was busy packing, as I said, sorting, purging, and packing,
Mhm.
and listening to audiobooks, and it's really they're just great. I love them, and all the narrators that
And
I've
her
heard
whole
so far.
generation, they don't read a lot because they don't have time. They've got little kids, they've got busy lives, but they
Yeah.
listen to audio a lot. And she said that
Yes.
I'm missing out if I don't put them in audio. So all of you guys that are listening right now, pop a comment. Do you listen to audiobooks? And if you don't, are you interested in audiobooks? And that will help a lot of authors to know whether to put that money out, because it's about, for a series, it's about $12,000 to $13,000 to produce it. So it's an investment, but we love our readers. And if you guys want them, we'll do it. So
We would do it for sure. Yeah.
put them in audio for you.
I mentioned that my first novel was The Bridge Club,
Mhm.
and I actually did the audiobook for The Bridge Club.
Oh,
I would never, ever do it again.
oh,
But I didn't know what I was doing then, right? So after I published it, people were saying, well, you should have an audiobook. It's a good thing to do. And so I listened to a podcast about audiobooks, and then there was a series of 4 weeks where you got all sorts of great information. And as part of that series, part of the 4 weeks, you had an opportunity for a one-on-one discussion with the fellow who was teaching.
mhm.
So
Wow.
I talked with him, and he said, you have a very good speaking voice. And I think it would be a good voice for narration.
Mhm.
So he said, the Bridge Club is based on my real life Bridge Club. So I know these characters. I lived this story.
Mhm.
And so he said, you're so close to the story, you really should seriously think about doing this. So anyway, I talked to one of my sons-in-law who is very involved in music. And the next thing I knew, he had me going to Metalworks, which is a world famous recording studio in Toronto. When you walk in, there are all these huge posters of the Beatles and the Stones and Diana Krall and Diana Ross and whoever you can think of there. And there I was walking in the studio. And I had this wonderful recording engineer, Wayne. I said, Wayne, you're going to be really bored. This is a story your mom would like to read. He said, don't worry about it. No problem. So anyway, and it was true. There was no problem. He was absolutely wonderful. It was an amazing experience. You have to sit absolutely still when you narrate. As you probably noticed, I tend to bounce around a lot and move my hands and everything when I'm talking. And you can't do that. I had to sit on my hands.
Mm.
And the slightest little noise, if your stomach happens to rumble or, you sniff, whatever, the slightest noise, you got to stop. And he gets to remove all that. Anyway, to make a long story short, I did that. And it was a very interesting experience, but never again. But just while I'm talking about the Bridge Club, I just wanted to say that that's my project now for this year. In fact, we're just getting ready to do a cover reveal. And at the end of November, or the first week in December, we're going to publish the 10th anniversary edition of the Bridge Club.
Wow,
And I'm so excited. The cover is gorgeous. It's totally different from the previous cover. And I think it's right because it deals, when this book ended, the Bridge Club starts when these women are in their late teens, early 20s, and it goes through their entire lives until they're in their 60s, when something happens that's a crisis within the group, and then the story ends. And I have so many readers who wrote to me and said, okay, well, so what happened? Who did this happen to? Because the last chapter is written in a very unusual way, where I don't reveal who the character is that this crisis is happening to.
POV character is? Oh, how interesting.
And so it was a very popular book, particularly with book clubs.
Oh, yeah.
because it would really, you know, engage them in conversation. But then they all wanted to know, okay, well, who was it? And I would get emails saying, well, was it so-and-so? So, and often if I met a reader, that would be the first question. That was before I did my Provence books. I'd say, oh, who was it? You were at the Bridge Club? Who was it? So,
Great. That means you just pull those readers in, and I love stories like that. You know, I could really tell that you cherish friendships just because of the story elements that you have all portray deep friendships between women. And so I guess I wanted to ask a question. Let me find, there's a question I normally ask. Oh, here he is. I love this one. When I saw it, I thought I've got to ask Pat this one. What other authors are you friends with, and how do they help you become a better writer?
oh my gosh. Okay, well, you know,
Talk a little bit about Blue Sky.
we could be here for a very, very long time. Because there are so many Lake Union authors that were so much more experienced than I was and when I first joined Lake Union, and they were unbelievably helpful and sincere, and so those friendships have continued. And then, of course, you know, as we get more experienced and we get more books out and we meet more and more authors, the circle just widens, and the so many authors have influenced what I do. And you know, I could go way back to the beginning and talk about Stina Holmes and Christine Nolfi and Heather Birch, Betty Lee Crosby. You know, we were in there together in the beginning, and learning a lot ourselves as we went along. And then you know, we all went to NINC, and that's when I got to know Judith Kime and Ashley Farley, and you know, the circle widened some more. And then, of course, as you know, we started our Blue Sky book chat group, and those authors, I mean, Betty Lee is in there, and some other authors have come and gone, and we have new ones joining all the time. And
I'm going to interrupt here for a minute. So I know you girls love book groups, and this group here is primarily live author chats and live events and those kind of things. But Blue Sky is a little bit different in that you can actually post and chat back and forth daily. And so I would just recommend that you would look that up. It's Blue Sky Book Chat. And if you're not a member already, head over there and join, because those girls over there are talented and lovely. I mean, just lovely.
thanks, Kelly. Well, I mean, you've been a part of it. You know, as I said, you're like an honorary Blue Sky Book Chat author. You know, you always will be. And you know, sometimes
I wanted to do this, and I just didn't think I could do both. So
sure. And that's understandable. And you know, we've always left the door open too. You know, if somebody left for a while and then you know, wants to come back in, that's fine too. And as I say, we've had some wonderful new authors just join recently, and we're slowly expanding and figuring out what the best way is to engage with readers and to bring them something that's new and innovative. And so we really love having input from readers, and you can come and leave reviews for other people's books on our within the group too. It's not just all about our work, although we love it if they read our stories. And
well, I'll tell you too, you know, this group, I'm for a while, I am primarily featuring people who write what I write, and that is romantic women's fiction. But over on Blue Sky, for those of you who enjoy a little more literary, there are some literary authors over there that are amazing. I mean, amazing stories.
oh, absolutely. Peggy Lampman, she has such a lyrical way of writing and using words that writing doesn't come to me like that. I'm a storyteller. I write like I talk. But yeah,
both fiction. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Alison Ragsdale, of course, Betty Lee Crosby's there, and
Barbara's book hit #1 in the Amazon store. I mean, you know,
yeah,
it's amazing. So
yeah,
Barbara
totally.
Davis. So
And
let me,
we have Marilyn Simon Rothstein, who,
that's right. She's so funny.
if you want to laugh,
Oh my
you have
gosh.
to read her books. And I know she has a new one that's in the works.
Oh,
So,
good.
yes, for readers who have already read the first two, there isn't going to be another one coming.
Good.
And
Good.
we've got historical fiction authors, and very contemporary work too. Lainey Cameron just joined us, and her new book is awesome. It's about women in the workplace in Silicon Valley, and I mean, I had never read a novel that took you so deeply into that corporate world.
Oh, I'm going to love that.
Oh yeah, it's
one.
an amazing story, and at the same time, it's a story again about women and friendships and how they develop and evolve, and anyway, they're all great writers, and yeah, I encourage anybody who's watching who hasn't joined us yet, please do. And we've got a big promotion on right now. If you haven't joined Blue Sky and signed up for the newsletter, if you do it now, so look around for the promotion. There's a chance to be entered in a draw for 10 signed paperbacks.
That's amazing.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So I just want to finish telling you though about what I'm doing with the Bridge Club, because so I'm publishing the 10th anniversary edition, and there's now, the story is still the same. If you read it 10 years ago, it's the same story, but a lot of readers have said to me, because I was worried about that, and they said, I want to read it again. I read it 10 years ago. I've forgotten half of it. So, I mean, I've tightened up the writing from 10 years ago, but essentially the story is the same. But then there's added content at the end, which brings these ladies back into the story 10 years later and talks about what happened at the end and tells you who it happened to. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Oh, readers are going to love that. I don't know that readers really understand how much we appreciate their emails and their contacts, because they'll often give us ideas. I don't know how many authors I've ever talked to that say they get a lot of story ideas from their readers. Betty Lee Crosby was here last week and she said that. And I know I can count, on my at least a half a dozen authors who can say that.
Yes.
A reader told them a story, or a reader suggested something, or they just cherish the feedback. And we read our reviews. Some of them are hard once in a while when somebody's kind of mean, but because not every story is for everyone, but by and far I learn what my readers love to read and fashion my stories based on reader feedback. So
absolutely,
time to put a reader review up there. It's benefiting us, but it's benefiting you too. So
yeah, for sure. But it's so true. There's no better feedback than from a reader, and if it's in a review, that's fantastic, because then you're sharing your feedback with everybody else. But I'll tell you, one of the really fun things that's happened in my writing life that I had no idea would even occur, never thought about it when I started, it is the fact that I get to do a tour for women. This year would have been our 7th year, and we were actually going to do 2 tours this year because of the demand. But once a summer, I do a tour for 16 women, 12 days, based on my novels. And for the last 3 years, I've done it with my very good friend, Deborah Bine, who blogs as the Barefoot Blogger and lives most of the year in France. And she is just a wonderful person. And we both share such a passion for France and for travel and for women our age doing all those things, that we have the best time on these tours.
Than going to France with a bunch of book lovers. I just can't imagine.
Yeah, it is. And it is really hilarious because they're all talking about the story and they're all looking for Philippe. When we go to Antibes and we go to the Provençal market, they're all going, oh, will Philip be there? We gotta, could we meet him?
Well, and I want you to tell readers, and our members here that are watching, what do they need to do to make sure they get notices when you're able to do that again? Because I would be willing to bet you there's some ladies here that want to get in on that.
Well, of course, I'm always writing about it in social media, but they can go to my website, and there's a contact there, and there's a whole page about our tour. So you can go back and look at previous tours and see photos. I take pictures constantly. Everybody has to sign a permission at the beginning of the tour that it's okay for me to take pictures of them and post them on Facebook. And I mean, it's usually all group pictures, and no one has ever complained.
So, and if they sign up for your newsletter, is that another good way to make sure?
Absolutely, yes. Sign up for my newsletter, you'll hear for sure. But I'm telling you, when there's a tour going, you'll know about it if you're following me, because I blab about it everywhere. And so does Deborah. And Nancy McGee, who owns the Absolutely Southern France travel agency, puts our tours together. And, you know, we just give her the details about where we want to go and what we want to do. And then she makes magic happen. She is amazing. Wow. And so, yeah, we spend the first week in Nice. Everybody flies to Nice. A lot of women go to Paris first or somewhere else. And then they come, we all meet in Nice, and we have 6 days in Nice. We only move once, which is a real plus on the tour. You're not packing and unpacking every day. And we stay in 4- and 5-star hotels. And every day we do a day trip. And of course, in that part of the world, you can go somewhere magical within less than an hour. And so we do different day trips. And we also have a lot of time in Nice as well. And then on the transition day, we have our own private coach, and we go to Aix-en-Provence, stop there, have lunch, check out the market, do a Cézanne walking tour, and then we go on to Arles, and we stay in Arles for 6 days. And Arles was the setting for drawing lessons. So we're in Van Gogh territory, and we go down to the Camargue, where there are the white stallions and the wild bulls and the French cowboys. And we're also then in Deborah's territory, because she lives in Uzès. And so people who are on the tour who follow her blog, of course, are very excited to, you know, finally walk in her footsteps in the towns that we visit that week. So it's an amazing tour. I have to say, I mean, I just can't tell you how wonderful it is. And the reason I can is because these women keep telling us how wonderful it is. And on the last day, nobody wants to go home. Yeah. And what one of the best parts of the whole tour for me is that so far every year, these women have bonded, and most of them are strangers on day one. A few of them might have come with a friend or a sister or a mother or a daughter, but a lot of them come on their own. And by day 2, they're already great friends. And by the end of the tour, they're just in love with each other. It's crazy. And we have Facebook pages that we set up for each individual tour. And it's so much fun to go onto those pages and see how, you know, they're still connecting and getting together. And some of them have done, like on one tour 3 years ago, we had one woman from England on the tour. The next year, 6 women who were on the tour went over to England and visited her. Oh, wow. I mean, you know, it is such a great celebration of friendship.
It's what I love about books. Books can spawn all kinds of things, and friendship, and, you know, just books. For most of us, we know the power of books and the power of story, but that is an unusual way for your stories to encapsulate women and provide friendships. And I wanted to say that if you girls out there want to buy a whole bunch of my books so that I can afford to go next year, I want to go. Sold. I want to go to France.
All right. I'm telling you, it would be so much fun.
Let's get a She's reading group together and let Patty. That would be fun.
Great. And you know what? I mean, I have visited a lot of book clubs who talk about coming on the tour. And that hasn't happened yet, but last year, 5, 6 women from a tennis club in Florida came on the tour,
Uh,
all together, and, had a wonderful time, and ended up again, making great friends from other parts of the country. And we have people from Australia come on the tour. As I said, this year we were going to do 2. One was going to be our standard tour in September. And in June, we were doing a special tour that we put together because the women who came on our September tour 2 years ago insisted that they were all coming back. And they said, we're going to do your tour again. And Deborah and I said, no, don't be ridiculous. Don't come and spend all that money doing the same thing, because we're not changing that tour. So they said, okay, if we promise you that we will all come back, will you create a tour for us? So we said, okay, tell us what you want to do. Still in the south of France, like we weren't creating a tour anywhere else. And so we put together another 12-day tour for them, 6 days in Nice and 6 days in Saint-Remy de Provence, and with all new experiences, and a little extra time in Nice on their own because they all knew what they wanted to do in Nice. And so imagine, I know everybody with this darn COVID has had plans canceled and changed, and far more serious than, having to not go on vacation.
No, I'm ready for this to end. I have enjoyed, thank goodness we have books we can escape in, worlds and stories. And I'm very open. A lot of the reason I started She's Reading with these live author chats is because I was so isolated. And we've just had a ball. This is our 16th video, by the way. And so we are, we've connected and chatted with authors, all over the place. And we've sure enjoyed getting to know you this evening, Patricia. In fact, I learned things. As much as we've known each other, I didn't know a lot of this. So it's been really a treat for me too. Tell me, one of the things that we like to do here on She's Reading when we have a guest author is we let the guest author offer some sort of giveaway. Do you want to talk about what your giveaway is this evening? And for any of you who want to know, any comment that you have posted below, any question, any comment at all that you've posted, you are entered. And then Patricia will go in, and she and I are going to go answer all those comments, like I said earlier. And then Patricia will randomly choose in whatever way she uses. I use Rafflecopter, but every author has something that they use. But to choose the winner. And then tomorrow morning, do you want to post the winner, Patricia?
Sure. That'd be great. Yep.
All right.
And
tell us what your giveaway is.
Okay. Well, my giveaway is going to be, because they're on sale, I will give away the 3 ebooks of the Love in Provence series. And then I'll give a copy of Drawing Lessons, a signed paperback copy of Drawing Lessons.
That's generous. Wow, that's exciting.
So, I'm really happy to do that. And I have because Vincent van Gogh plays, his spirit is very much on the pages of this story. And so I have some cool Van Gogh swag that I'll include with the paperback of Drawing Lessons.
All right. So there's some of you gals that have said that you don't do a lot of e-reading, and so for Ruth Benson and some of you girls who have told me that, this is your chance to get a physical book. And
although forget Ruth Benson, she's already got it. Hi Ruth, if you're there, I love you. Such a wonderful. In fact, she created my own special Drawing Lessons bookmark for me when she read the book. Yeah, which is very, very thoughtful.
One of our cherished readers, in group. She's such a, and there's many. Joyce Mintus, I was just telling her this week. Thank you for everything that you do to support authors. She's Reading is wonderful. In fact, it's amazing to me because there have been, I think, 3 different authors who have guested on here, And the following weeks, like within 2 or 3 weeks, they hit the a bestseller list.
Oh,
I mean,
fantastic.
and they write and say, you know, so
Yeah.
this group has some power. So when you girls go out and buy books, you're actually promoting authors in the publishing industry, and it's a powerful little group. So
I commend you, Kelly, for having this vision and taking this idea and actually making it happen. It's really really a great accomplishment.
It's been a joy. I mean, I just really love these. First of all, there's a lot of authors like you that I know, but I don't know. I know so much better when we've done one of these author chats. I mean, it's just
well, it's just a great opportunity to talk about whatever, right? Yeah, it is. No, I love it.
When I end these, because we're almost at the 45-minute mark, but I do what's called rapid fire questions. These are some questions that are just designed to have you just answer quickly. Okay. And what happens is our readers get to know you just a little bit better. So rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Chocolate or vanilla?
No, chocolate. No question. I'm a chocoholic.
Pie or cake?
Cake.
Okay. Beer or wine?
Aha. Well, I have a son who's a brewmaster and who creates craft beer. So yes, I would take beer. Thank you.
Great. Stilettos or flip-flops?
I love wearing heels. I'm short. So, you get that little sensation of maybe being a bit taller than you are. Yeah. So, but I don't wear them quite as often as I used to. When you're in the South in the winter, I wear sandals, not flip-flops. Yeah.
All right. Dawn or sunset?
Ooh, sunset.
Swimming or walking?
Both. Do I have to pick one? Okay, walking. I walk more than I swim, especially if I'm walking my grandpup.
Oh, Georgia. That's a cute
Georgia.
Name. Oh, Georgia.
Yes.
Beach or mountains?
Oh, both. Oh, this is hard,
that one was hard.
Very hard. Okay, I'm going to say mountains now that I'm in a more mountainy, well, they're not really big mountains, but for Southern Ontario, they are.
Okay, cook or takeout?
Oh, takeout.
Takeout.
Definitely. After 40 some years of cooking for, a family of 7 and a husband and all that, now I write, I don't cook.
I don't cook. Campground or resort?
Resort.
Resort. And the last one, flowers or massage?
Oh, flowers.
Flowers, me too.
I can't stand having a massage.
Really? Oh my God.
I know.
When I finish a book, that's the first thing I do is I go treat myself to a massage.
Oh, I know. I'm really weird.
Flowers because I love them.
I've been admiring those flowers all through our chat.
Well, our local Kroger grocery store has flowers like this. You can get, a bouquet like that. I got those for $5.99. I mean, you really need it. So I go every week, and that's my little splurge is getting myself some fresh flowers. So
yeah, well, you know what? That's exactly what I do too. There's a farmer's market just up the road from us, and they grow all their own flowers. They have one species, the Lysianthus, that I always buy at the markets in France. I've never seen them anywhere here. All of a sudden, there they are every day in season, these fantastic bouquets, and they grow them themselves. So anyway.
So we know what they look like.
Okay, I will. Yeah. And of course, I always have sunflowers.
Yeah. I have so enjoyed you being here. For everyone who's been following this evening, and those of you who've been watching the Trump and Biden debates instead, this has really been more fun. But you guys can come on and watch anytime because this is recorded and will be on Facebook. But you'll need to comment before in the morning because that's when Pat is going to choose our winner.
Yep.
And for any of you who have found a new author tonight and want to escape to the world of France and in those love stories and the things that I enjoy. Pat will also post all of her links to her newsletter, her website, all her social media, that kind of thing, so that you can stay in contact. And don't forget to check out Blue Sky Book Chat. It's another kind of book group. It's not quite like this, but it's really fun. I used to be a part of it, and I really encourage you to go over and check it out. And till then, Pat, you're going to tell all my former Blue Sky Book Chat buddies hello for me.
I will, for sure. And I know they send their love to you. And thanks again, Kelly. This has really been fun. It's always a treat to talk to you because you're just so full of enthusiasm and great questions. And I love your books. And I thank you so much for promoting mine.
Yeah, no problem at all. It's been a joy. All right. Good night, everyone. We'll see you in
Bye,
the.
everybody.
Good night.